Welcome to the Working Tools Podcast, where today we will be having an informal discussion on attire and lodge.
Ladies and gentlemen, brethren all, welcome to the Working Tools Podcast, a casual conversation around Freemasonry. First, it's important to note that our thoughts and opinions are our own and do not reflect those of our Grand Lodge or respective craft or concordant bodies. Please connect with us and ask questions via our website at theworkingtoolspodcast.com.
Today on the Working Tools Podcast, we have our usual foursome of hosts. Myself, Matthew Appel. I'm a member of Mill Creek Lodge number 243 here in Montlake Terrace, Washington. We have Jarrod Dunham, who's a member of Penticton 147, and worshipful brother Steven Chung, who's a member of Prince Charles, number 153, both in the Grand Lodge of British Columbia and Yukon, and very worshipful brother David Colbeth from King Solomon 60, also here in Washington. So we sent a picture around to ourselves earlier of just a picture of Steve standing next to another brother at a lodge meeting. Presumably, I guess after the meeting had broken up, it looked like, judging by the picture there. And Steve is wearing shorts and I guess they're slides, right? They're not actually flip-flops. And the other brother is wearing the full suit and tie and the whole 9 yards. And that sort of sparked a discussion amongst us on attire and lodge. And here we go.
Sorry, guys. I did not do a good job at pulling a paper. I thought it was funny as hell, and we get at least 1-2 episodes out of dress code, right? But
well, I gotta ask, what is the backstory with that picture? Did you actually literally go to lodge in shorts and flip-flops?
Yeah.
Why?
I was told to. So they recruited me. They hoodwinked me, dragged me there. No. Anyways, I was camping down at Gallagher Lake as usual. Chuck Guild comes over and finds me. You got to come to lodge on Wednesday. I said, dude, I'm camping. I haven't got the clothes to wear. He says, all you need is a proper apron, and we have that. And I said, no. You need a suit and whatnot. And he said, no. We've been through this before. I said, what do you mean? And he says, we've been through this before. We're a destination resort town down here, right? We get it all the time. Guys show up and they didn't have any proper attire, but they'd love to come to lodge. So they search the Constitution, and there's nothing in the Constitution about dress code. And except that you're properly dressed if you're wearing an apron. Now, I said, but hey, the lodge officer's guide says we got to wear a dark suit or a tuxedo. He says, key words. Are you a lodge officer in my lodge? And I said, no. And he says, aha. I said, no, it can't be. I said, okay, I tell you what, I'll check with your worshipful master. If your worshipful master says, yeah, that's the gig, then you know what, I'll go. Because I was there for those guys' entered apprentice degree in both different lodges. And they were combining, or they were doing a courtesy for the other. So they were being done at the same time at Orion. And he says, you got to be there for that, right? So I said, okay, if he says I can, I'll go. So I checked with Kevin Gunn, and he said, oh yeah, we've been there, we've challenged it, the whole 9 yards, and you're properly dressed if you're wearing an apron. Now, Steve, we prefer you at least wore shorts underneath that. So then I went and found an apron, came back, and that was me in lodge, man. But yeah, they checked with Grand Lodge. They've been there.
There's nothing in the Constitution that says you have to wear a suit.
Yeah, no. So they said to be properly dressed is an apron.
Unless you're going to Grand Lodge, then it has.
Yes, in the Grand Lodge, in the Constitution, it does state that for Grand Lodge, but it does state it does not dictate dress code for regular lodge.
That's what it's like when you're podcast famous. People want you to go places.
Right.
Has that been your experience, Matt? Because it hasn't been mine.
Anyways, yeah. So I thought, you know what? Dress code. Yeah, because I remember going to district deputy's official visit in Omak, Washington, and the district deputy showed up in biker boots, dirty jeans, a white t-shirt, and a hat. And I was like, this for real? Right? Like we all drove down here in tuxes for this, right? And everybody there was severely underdressed compared to us, right? We really felt out of place. And it was for an official visit, we thought, oh my God, like this is just blowing our mind. So of course they invited us back down for a table lodge. And of course they were in real casual clothes at that point. But yeah, anyways.
I know in Florida, when I visited several years ago, their lodge attire was shorts and flip flops. I think they even, I hate to say this, I think they even conducted degrees like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Right.
It's pretty sad.
And so like, I know that some people see it as a sign of respect. Some see it as a just a common courtesy code thing that you just show up and, I mean, you were expected to be there in a dark suit when you joined, right? So they expect it, but is it? I mean, like, what about in you guys' district? Like, are you allowed to show up in whatever?
So I got to ask the dumb question at this point. Are we, is this the episode? Have we started? And I missed it?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I've always held that I'd rather have you in lodge and poorly dressed than sitting at home. But I don't know. Flip flops might be a step too far.
I'd rather have you, if you're going to dress like that, I'd rather have you sitting at home. That's disrespectful.
Disrespectful. Okay.
Disrespectful. Disrespectful to the lodge, disrespectful to Freemasonry.
But when it's a lodge that insisted you show up, knowing that
I don't know.
I mean, attire.
I'm not saying. I'm saying that if you just show up like that, you went through you did it the right way. You made sure that the master was okay with you doing it.
Yeah. I wouldn't even fathom showing up to lodge like that. Like, I mean,
but
I go to Vancouver and go.
Even if I'd gotten, even with Kevin's permission, I would never show up in anything less than a suit.
Yeah.
I can't even go to Peachlands when they do their casual night. And they do a casual night where you just wear, cotton, like a button-up cotton shirt and slacks,
polo shirt,
no suit code. That just feels totally improper to me. But that's just my.
Well, we went
Our lodge usually does the June meeting before we go dark for the summer. We usually have Hawaiian shirt night, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I would never be caught dead in a Hawaiian shirt anyway, so.
So we went to Enderby Lodge twice in the summer, and their dress code was business casual,
which is a suit coat, by the way. Business casual is a sport coat or a blazer. Business formal is a full suit.
You're funny. No, business casual. This is the Okanagan. That's shorts and a golf shirt.
Oh, that's casual. That's actually, I'm not even sure that's appropriate for the golf course. No, actually, it probably is appropriate for most golf courses.
So, anyways, their notice said business casual, no shorts, no flip flops, right? So slacks and a collared shirt, please. Right? Okay, so we wore slacks and a collared shirt. Then, of course, one guy shows up there in a blazer and a shirt and tie and everything else, saying, no, this is business casual. I said, well, I don't know. They said business casual, and then they give a description.
Yeah. If by giving a description of what they consider business casual, they're setting their business casual.
Right. And so he actually refused to come back to the second one in the summer. Yeah. And that's totally his choice. But I mean, he couldn't stand watching everybody be there in golf shirts. It was killing him. He was the only one there in a suit jacket.
Well, I would argue that a golf shirt isn't a collared shirt.
Well, yeah, true. I mean, collared shirt, yeah, golf shirt.
That's a polo shirt. That's not a collar.
Okay, all right, yeah, collared
But
shirt.
we digress.
Yeah, okay, cool.
It was actually the first time I was master. I went and visited another lodge in our district then, and it was the official visit of the district deputy, which is why I went. And so I showed up in my jacket and tie. And I can't remember if I wore a suit or just jacket and slacks, but either way. And the district deputy was there, and he was in his Grand Lodge team uniform thing. And I showed up, and they threatened to scissor my tie off because apparently no one's allowed to wear ties in their lodge. So I turned around and I look at the deputy, and he's like yanking this tie off so he doesn't. Okay.
Well, I guess tradition is tradition, right?
Our loggers degree is like that. Have you been to the loggers degree, Matt?
I have not.
They have loggers degree. The only one that wear a tie is the Grand Master when he's being initiated as the new logger, the new, I don't even know what the term is, the logger workman guy. And they actually have an axe, and they pull the tie over a stump, and they hit it with an axe. They chop it off with an axe. And I would agree, there's all kinds of different. My idea is the same as Matt's. If you're coming from work or coming from, I would rather have him in biker boots and in a dirty pants coming from work. Now, the next time I would hope that he would prepare for that. But if that's, if he wants to participate,
well, why the next time? Why can't he prepare this time?
Right? Maybe. But I'd rather have him there, I think, to participate in conversation and things like that. Now, if it's a degree, I would say no, don't come like that to a degree. But a stated meeting night.
No, I kind of went with, okay, as a regular member in that district, I would never normally even think of it. But as a traveler, being caught in a place and wanting to go to lodge and whatnot, if it's acceptable to that lodge, okay, that's kind of how I kind of went with it in my mind, that's okay, because you're traveling and they're insisting you come to lodge. Okay, right? But in my regular practice of going to lodge on a normal basis, would never show up that way. Couldn't even fathom showing up even just with a shirt and tie, right? We've had guys show up at our lodge with just a shirt and tie. One time it was, they were coming from work, they didn't have a jacket, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The worshipful master let it be. But he said this one time, right? So, the guy was put on notice that, don't, just try to remember next time, so, but I think as traveling, that's okay. That can be a time when it can be an exception. But now, knowing that there's no written rule to it, kind of hard to enforce. No, Jarrod would just say, no, he can't come in.
I would, yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I am not taking the bait tonight.
Would you, how would you handle that? Would you exclude him? Would you take him to the side and say, sorry, I can't come in? How would you handle that? So the guy shows up at your door and, not a polo shirt. Let's say maybe it's actually a shirt like yours. It's that's a button down. I would say a button up shirt.
Oh yeah. Shirt. So someone were to show up in lodge less than a suit. There's nothing you can do technically.
So you would just let him be there, and
I have to. Yeah. I cannot exclude him for as long as he's wearing an apron. I cannot exclude him under our rule set.
And so does that change your idea that, so we might have to do an intro for this one, Matt. So does that mean that if he comes again like that, then does that mean you're not going to come because the lodge is allowing it? Could it get to that extreme?
Well, if I'm the one that gets to choose whether he goes or not, I'm master and I'm always there. But like, if let's just say that if I were just a regular, like if I, as a regular attendee of my lodge and someone comes from another lodge dressed like that on a regular, I would most definitely let my opinion be known.
Take him aside, whisper in his ear, or would it be more?
Yeah, I might take him aside and whisper in his ear. Depends on how many times he's done it.
Yeah, or is it more of a general? One of you guys said like an announcement from the east that says, "Hey, brethren, just a reminder, our dress code is X."
But once again, that's the master's job, not like There's and as we've pointed out, he can sort of say that, but if you really want to push it, you can't stop someone from going to lodge as long as they're dressed and wearing an apron, because there is no dress code in the Constitution or the regulations.
Do you have an exclusatory clause in your Constitution for attendance of lodge?
An exclusatory clause?
Can you exclude? This is not Applejuice.
What he's saying is we that you can stop. Any three brothers can go to the master and say, I don't want this visitor in my lodge.
In our Constitution, we can.
Okay, now there is a brother. If a brother goes to the master and says, I will not sit in lodge with this guy, then the visitor is not allowed to sit in lodge.
Yes.
So, but I mean, that you've got to be, because I've had to deal with that. And because that was like my first meeting as master, I had a brother come up to me and say, I will not sit in lodge with him.
Really?
Yep. And I had to go to that brother. I had to go to that brother and say to him, I'm sorry, you cannot sit in lodge with us.
Oh,
and it was a guy that was tough. It was a regular visitor to our lodge. And it broke my heart to have to tell him he couldn't come to lodge.
That had to be tough. Oh, yeah.
And then the guy that said he wouldn't sit in lodge with him didn't come back to after that.
Is that in your Constitution, or is that just a?
I'm trying to remember if it's in the Constitution or not.
It is.
Is it? Yeah, I'd have to double check, but I know I've read it. It's in one of the publications.
Right. Yeah. No, it is. Yeah. I actually read that part this past year when I was helping that other worshipful master with his issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that there is that in the lodge, that if a brother comes up to you and comes up to the master and says, I will not sit in lodge with this visitor, like not another brother, but a visitor. If it's another brother, you gotta do the whole mediation. Oh, come on, don't be a dick. What's your problem? Type thing. But if it's a visitor and you've got a member of your lodge that says they will not sit in lodge with them, then as master, it is your duty to go up to the visitor and say, I'm sorry, I cannot let you sit in lodge.
Yep.
And it literally broke my heart. It was the hardest thing I ever, and it was, as I said, it was like my first meeting as master. Yeah. I had to do that.
And the worst part is the brother who complained never came back anyway.
Yeah, and the brother never came to another meeting either. And I got chewed out by the district deputy for doing it.
Right, but you didn't have a choice anyway.
I didn't have a choice. I said to him, I don't have a choice.
Yeah, it's not even like it was a choice of the worshipful master to have. It is in our Constitution, right?
My hands were tied.
That's pretty shitty. That's sorry to hear that, bro.
So do all of your lodges have, so is that a jurisdictional wide thing?
Yeah, that's in our provincial, that's in our Grand Lodge Constitution and regulations.
I'm sorry, I meant is the idea of dress code. You said is it for officers? So how, if it's not officially in your dress code that you should be in a dark suit, has it just been a tradition that's been propagated across all of your lodges and that's just the way everybody feels? Or is it like, well, this lodge kind of dresses down a little bit, they're okay with suits, but this lodge, they wear tuxes every time, everybody?
Yeah, so well, I'm trying to think, because like I have read so many, because you've got the Grand Lodge Constitution regulations, then each lodge has their bylaws, which are enforceable, and some lodges have in their bylaws that the officers wear tuxes. I'm trying to remember if our lodge actually has that or not, or if it was Headley's. Like, so like this is without on the spot right now, I can't tell you exactly. I'd have to do some research, but I know I have read that I think there are some lodges that put it in their bylaws that there's a dress code. So, but for the most part, I think it's been a tradition thing, is that you go to lodge, you wear a suit.
Yeah, in our district, that's the tradition.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think, Matt, the only place that we have it is in the Lodge Officer's Handbook. It recommends a dark suit, but there's nothing in the code that I can't think of anything in the code about that.
Not that I can recall, and I've certainly seen people violate any possible dress code that would have been in there.
I know when I was master
Yeah, I
the
mean-
first time, I sent out, edict is pretty strong, but a message to everybody say, this is what I would prefer.
A strongly worded suggestion.
And it was
Yeah.
simple, right? I don't expect a guy to go out and buy a $500, $1,000 tuxedo with a black suit, black top, black jacket, and black pants. Doesn't even have to be a suit; it could be separates, right? I went to I'll bare my soul here on the global YouTube. I went to the thrift store and got some black pants. So I had a black double-breasted suit, and I wore a bow tie and white gloves, and everybody thought it was a tuxedo. And then when I got some money and I decided I was going to stay with this thing, I went and bought one of those pair of some tux pants. So I had that little fancy stripe down the side. And then when I became master, I bought a tux jacket. So then I had a full tuxedo. And then my last tuxedo I bought was off the rack, literally at the thrift store for $20. And it fit. I had to get it adjusted a little bit, but it's actually still just sitting in a bag. I haven't even got it out to wear yet. So I'm very frugal with my purchases but now I wear them every month. I mean, people say, oh, tuxedo. I wear it all the time. I wear it to 3, 4, 5 times a month.
Well, yeah, I mean, like if this is you think if you think as master of the lodge, you have like as many lodges in your district, that's roughly how many meetings you have a month, spread out over 10 months. A tuxedo is actually a good investment. And you're getting to be master at some point, so you could squirrel a little money aside like that's always been the thing I've said to people is that, well, I don't have a suit. Well, then don't worry about it now because you're not an officer. We're not expecting it. If you want to go through the chairs, eventually you will be expected to dress properly. Start saving now.
Yep. I used to be the guy that sent out the messages, hey, Black & Lee's having their used tux sale on now. And, because they would sell off their used tuxedos for $250. And they'd fit you, they'd adjust it, they'd do the whole 9 yards, right? That was including your jacket, your pants, and your shirt. And you could get the leather patent shoes for $20, right? And a tie if you need it, right? But not a bad deal for $250. But now they closed Black & Lee in the Okanagan here, so if we want that deal, we got to go down to Vancouver and go to the Seymour location because that's the only place you can walk in and do that now, right? But
again, with a nice black suit and a bow tie, who's going to say that's not tuxedo?
It's close enough.
Yeah.
Well, see how I gained all that
wear
COVID weight back? I had to buy a bloody suit to go to Lodge, right? And the Black & Lee wasn't open, so I couldn't get a tuxedo. So I did go and get a black suit from Tip Top, 300 and change, right? By the time taxes and everything else, right? So they've come down. They're a little more reasonable in the suit market now, but
And I just wear a regular white collared shirt. I don't wear the fancy.
Oh no,
fluted.
Oh,
well, technically you should.
You
technically shouldn't wear a frilled shirt, like the frilled shirt with a black suit. It's
right.
Right.
Oh, with a black suit? No, you're supposed to wear it with a tux.
Well, again,
it's one of the options. I personally don't like them. I prefer actually. My ideal is a nice crisp white shirt, but that has the placket over top of the button so that you don't see the buttons either.
I like those. Yep. Yeah. But my favorite's my black shirt and my black jacket and my black pants.
Oh God, I hate the black on black on black.
Johnny Cash.
I mean, you should have seen that one coming.
That
monochromatic look. And then you throw a red tie on it and you look like a gangsta.
What is Matt? Do you know what esoterics is? Is it black on black with a white tie? Is that how it is?
No, I think they do black. I think they do black and black
with a black tie.
I think so.
I know Crucible, which was the Yorkite version. I think they did black on black with a white tie. It was just a little bit different, just to be different. But it was so maybe Esoterica must do black all the way around. I don't remember now.
Yeah, I've got.
I'm pretty sure they're black all the way around. Yeah,
I've got the short one that's just a V, and then I've got the bow tie black one as well. So yeah, I've got the whole Johnny Cash covered. The look. I've even got a black hat if I was allowed to wear it in the lodge. I have to wait until I'm master again, but and then it's got to be the top hat. So it still ain't gonna be my black cowboy hat.
Okay,
but,
are we going down there now with a top hat with anything less than tails? Oh my god.
Well, I mean, our lodge tradition, worshipful master wears the top hat, right?
Well, tradition shouldn't trump good taste.
Well, you buy a nice hat, it looks good. I look great with it on.
Hornberg. You should be wearing a Hornberg.
What's a
Hornberg?
Hornberg is similar to a fedora, only the edge of the brim is rounded, is turned up a little bit.
Oh. Huh.
Hornberg.
Yeah, see if somebody can pull a picture of that. Hornberg.
I've been trying to find. Oh, I see. Okay. I've been trying to find a collapsible top hat, and it's the darndest thing trying to find one that fits and it's still in good condition. And I can't find one to be made anywhere. I don't even know where to start to be trying to find them to be made. So I'm looking on eBay trying to find hats, and this is the second one I got, and it just fits barely, but it really needs to be about a half-inch bigger.
Yeah, my buddy my buddy on the coast, he's got one of those, and he wore it for his year, because they go with top hats in there.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. That would look good on me.
Very good. Well, Matt, you want to call us out and do an intro, and we've got a show on this one.
So does anybody have anything else to add on our our analysis of Steve's picture? No. So I guess I will draw back the curtain a bit here and say that we weren't planning on doing an episode about attire and lodge, but it worked out that way. So on behalf of Steve and Jarrod and David and myself, thank you all for listening, and I look forward to talking to you again next time on the Working Tools Podcast. Goodbye.